Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over the cleaning and lubrication of your Tavor rifle here. I really like this rifle. You guys see it here all the time on the channel for that reason. But my guess is if you tuned in here, you didn't tune in to hear me talk, so let's get into the cleaning. Before I get into the actual cleaning, let's go over what I'm actually using. These are unlabeled because I repackaged it, but this is both break-free CLP. The bottles I think you can get at Brownells if you're looking for those guys. But break-free is the brand for those of you guys new to cleaning, and you can go to Amazon or anywhere else and you'll find it on there. Other good CLPs will work, Frog Lube, Fire Clean, whatever the case may be. Any sort of CLP will work just fine. So pick whichever one you prefer there. We just have some old cut up pieces of t-shirt, which you'll see why that's kind of important here on a Tavor in a second. Some patches. These are actually store-bought patches. However, you can by all means just cut your t-shirt up into little patches that'll fit in a 5.56 chamber. The only actual piece from the Tavor kit that I may use, the cleaning kit that comes with the rifle, is this little thing right here. It's pretty handy in a couple spots in the Tavor rifle. It's got a unique little spot in there to get in, which we'll show you in a second. Tipped in polymer gun pick. They're polymer, so you're not going to scratch up anything in the inside of your gun. These are available on Amazon as well, tipped in. And then this old shotgun rod here. I have no idea where this came from. I've had it forever, but we'll show you why we're going to use that in a second as well. And then this is the Otis cleaning rod. I really like these. Cleaning cable, I should say. These are really good. However, the cleaning rods that come with your rifle work just fine. So by all means, no need to go out and buy them if you're new to this, okay? All right, so let's get into the actual cleaning itself. Before we do anything to the gun, we're gonna wanna make sure it is unloaded. So move all this stuff out of the way. Let you guys check the chamber there. You can see mine. It's got some experience on it, so it's kind of broken up there, but I did check the chamber. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is clear. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the gun apart. First thing we wanna do here is this pin right here at the back of the buttstock. We're going to push that through. So you can use the tip of a bullet if you don't have anything else to get it started, which is probably a better idea than using a plastic rod. Start that, pull it through, open your buttstock up. And at this point, your piston and bolt are going to come out. Leave those out. Essentially now, in terms of the cleaning, that is your field strip rifle. One good thing about using a break-free CLP is that it continues to work really the whole time it's in contact with whatever surface it's on in terms of breaking down carbon deposits. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to run a patch through the barrel. I'm going to go through the ejection port, but you can go through the back if you want, especially if you have those cleaning rods that came with it. And we're just going to pull it out the other end of the barrel and let that CLP work its magic and break down that carbon while we're cleaning the rest of the gun. I should point out that you can take your trigger pack out if you want to as well by pushing these buttons through the same way we just did with the buttstock buttons. So it's probably a good idea. You don't have to do it every time you clean it, but since this is a demonstration video, we'll do so and drop it out. This is the Timney trigger, but cleaning it will be exactly the same as the factory trigger. To disassemble the piston and the bolt, one thing you need to do is you need to make sure that this is all the way to the rear, the spring here, because you can see there's some play in it. You really want to make sure this rod right here that moves is all the way to the rear. So at that point, when it's all the way to the rear, all you're going to do is push this little bolt across. So we'll do that right here. Comes right out. Out will come your bolt and then your firing pin. And make note of the way the firing pin is in there. You can see on the back that the firing pin is just over that sort of lip right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Just make note of that because when you put it back in, that's what you're going to want to see. You can see there's a firing pin with the spring on there, which helps prevent slam fires and other things you don't want. And at that point, your bolt and piston are disassembled. To clean them, I'm just going to put some spray CLP here on the little piece of t-shirt we have. We're just going to wipe it down, make sure that we get all that carbon off there. And you can see this gun here has been firing a good bit suppressed, and it's been a while since I cleaned it, unfortunately. So we're going to do that. Clean all around the bolt, make sure you get all those lugs off. And then under here, you'll see the extractor. You want to make sure that you clean under the extractor as well. Take your polymer tip, if I can actually find that little tool I showed you earlier. Here we have it off to the side. And you can take that and sort of line up your t-shirt here and just kind of clean underneath there. And make sure we get all underneath that extractor hook, because that extractor hook is obviously very key to reliable function of the weapon. So clean that out. Next, I'm going to go grab a pipe cleaner actually and show you how to clean the inside out as well. Through the magic of video editing, we have a pipe cleaner to clean out that firing pin channel in there as well. Not a whole lot of carbon in there, it's not too bad. That's how you clean it out. We're going to do the exact same thing here to your firing pin. If you want, you can remove that spring. That's fine, that's up to you. Just make sure you remember how to put it on. I'm not sure it matters which direction it's in. In fact, I believe it doesn't. But you can clean that off as well. And just how clean you want to get these, I'm going to leave that to you. So you can see this one's pretty dirty here. If you want to keep going and keep ensuring you get all that carbon off, that's fine. By all means, do so. For the piston, we're just going to do the exact same thing. Kind of clean it up. You can see this one here is pretty grungy. Again, the suppressors will do that for you, as well as just a lot of firing. So same kind of thing. We're just going to wipe it down until it's clean to the level that you want. If you guys are a little bit more meticulous and want to get every last piece of carbon off, by all means, please do so. But for video purposes, we're going to do just kind of a quick wipe down here to show you the actual process for those of you who are new to firearms and new to the Tavor. We'll wipe down the outside here as well. Make sure you get in those little gaps. One thing that's really nice about this weapon system in terms of maintenance is that there's not a lot of really small parts to clean into. We're going to take this rag here, the clean side, and push that through as well where the bolt sits and the firing pin, just to kind of get in there, try and get some of that grime out of there, because there certainly is some. Just push it back here. Pull that out, and then we should be done. To put this back together, it's just like taking it apart again, making note of that flange there. There's two flanges, I guess you could say, on the firing pin, and where you actually want to set it up. Again, you want to set it up right on that ledge right there. So that's where you want it, and you want the flat side facing up because that's where this pin's going to go through. So at this point, you're going to take your bolt, and we're just going to lubricate it here a little bit, put a little bit of CLP on there, and work around my fingers. It really doesn't need a ton of lube. If you guys want to go for more, by all means, be my guest. But that's what we're going to put on there. And now, again, it's a right-handed, this one's set up for right-handed jacks. So with that, you want your extractor going to the right. Sit it in there. You'll notice that as I push this forward, you can see that area opens right up there, which is where we're going to put our cross bolt. And you'll notice that there is a flat side on there. Look at it. You want that flat side to go to the back. So the back of the rifle as if it was assembled. So just start the pin there. We'll push our bolt through, allowing it to come through and become captive. And at that point, it's reassembled. To clean your trigger pack is relatively simple. This one obviously is the Timney, but everything I say will apply to the factory one. This one here is relatively clean because I took it out for a review recently and cleaned it up for that. But essentially how it works is you want to release your hammer. So in order to do that, what you're going to do here is you're going to take this little piece that sticks up and pull it forward, and that will release your hammer. Now at this point, really all you need to do is just wipe down all the surfaces in there. Anything you can see, wipe it down. Again, yours is going to look different with the factory one, I know, but same thing. You're just going to take your polymer tool so that way you don't scratch anything, put it in there, and just wipe all those surfaces up. And that's it. Your trigger pack is going to be clean at that point. Due to the way the camera is set up, you can't really see here, but I assure you, if you have this rifle sitting in front of you at home, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This area right down here is where I think this little tool here comes in play really well. You can get down in there and loosen up all that carbon, both in the top channel as well as the channel down below. Really get all that stuff that's caked in there off. Not off, excuse me, but loosened up. Because what we're going to do next is going to work to get it out. So I'll just set that off to the side. Again, I was using the cable, but if you have your USGI rod that came with it, by all means use that. So we'll take our patch again, which is really just a t-shirt. Again, if you want to buy patches, by all means have at it. We're going to put it through our rod here again. If you guys have your USGI rod, just use that. And we're just going to put it down both those channels. Again, there's sort of one that rides a little bit higher up in here, and then one that rides a little bit lower. But just moving it around, all around in there, trying to get any kind of carbon that's in the receiver area. So just trying to wipe it up. And again, this one's going to come down to just how meticulous you want to be with your rifle. So however much you want to get it clean, if you want it spotless, by all means, man, get it spotless. That's on you. Compared to, say, an AK or a AR-15, the chamber on this gun is relatively difficult to clean. However, your rifle does come with a chamber brush. So what you're going to do is just put it down right into the chamber, get it in there a few times with that brush, pull it in and out. I know some folks really like to spin it in there as well. If that's what you want to do do it to your heart's content, man. Have at it. So at that point, pull it in a few times, just loosen up that carbon, and then we're going to keep running some patches through there. Actually, before I hit it with the patches through the barrel, one thing I want to point out here is actually cleaning in the chamber. One of the things that these little handy tipped-in picks are good about is that they have these little angles on them, so you can set the patch right on the outside there, and then with that you can work around and get pretty much the entire chamber due to the angle that's on there. So you can see it when I pull this out, it's probably going to be pretty ugly. Yep, pretty ugly. So what you're going to do is just keep working around in there. If you don't have one of these little picks, they should freaking sponsor me, man. I recommend these things all the time. But if you don't have one of them, you can use Q-tips and you can get in there most of it with Q-tips. However, the Q-tips aren't going to have the angle, so you're going to miss a little bit. In reality, it's probably not going to affect the function of your rifle at all. But so you can see, just keep doing that until your patch comes out as clean as you want it to be. Now that we've got the chamber clean, we'll actually go and run some patches through the barrel like I mentioned earlier. Again, we're just going to put a little bit of CLP on there. If you guys are having a very high round count and you have a lot of copper deposits, copper buildup in your barrel, by all means, and you want to use a solvent, do that first. If you guys want to do that, like you want to use your hot solvent or shooter choice solvent or whatever the case may be to get that copper out of there, have at it. But personally, I'm not at that point right now. I'm not having any accuracy degradation, so I'm just going to use the CLP to keep clearing that carbon out. So same as before, just keep running the patches through, pull them out. And the good thing is, while we were actually cleaning the rifle, the CLP has been breaking down more and more carbon. This one here is not too terribly dirty. So we'll run a few more patches through until we get that sucker as clean as we want. I like to use the backside as well because I'm ridiculously cheap, and I'd rather spend money on bullets than patches. So we will use each one twice, at least that's what I do. And after that, get a new patch and keep running them through there until they come out clean. Before putting the piston and the bolt back in, you want to put a light coat of oil just on this little rod here, because it's going to be sliding back and forth, as you can imagine. You can see I have a light coat of oil here on the outside of the carrier there, just because you can see wear. So anytime you see wear somewhere, you know that it's rubbing. So a light coat of oil there is certainly not going to hurt. Now, when reassembling the rifle, what you want to do is use gravity as your friend, and you want to put it so that way it just falls right back into place. At that point, you're just going to push the little spring forward. And you can do that by hand, or you can do it just by closing the buttstock. And you're going to push that pin back through. Reinstalling your trigger pack or hammer and sear pack, I guess whatever you want to call it, is the opposite of taking it out. Very, very simple. You're just going to pull your tab down here, put it back in. And one thing I neglected to mention is that when you put it back in, you need to have your hammer down. So we took it, let it go forward to clean behind there. But when you put it back in, make sure it's in the down position. Once it's back in, just going to push these pins through. It's back. I don't know why. It's a little bit tough on my rifle. Again, my rifle, one of the early ones. So I've seen others that it's much simpler on. And at that point, your rifle's back together. You just want to do a general functions check. So you're going to charge the charging handle to the rear. Let it go forward. You're going to put your weapon on fire. Pull the trigger. Charge it again. Put your weapon on safe. It works. So that's about it. That's the end of the cleaning process. That's pretty much all there is to it, guys. It's not too complex. The Tavor, obviously being a piston-operated rifle, is very easy to clean. And even if you don't clean it very often, it's very forgiving as well. So very easy to clean. Not a whole lot of carbon in there, even though this one here had been kind of neglected for the last few range trips, I should say. So that's about it. If you guys have other techniques that you use, by all means use them. Other cleaners, other techniques of actually cleaning it. So long as we get the carbon out of there and get the rifle lubricated, it'll probably run just fine, and it'll probably do so for a very long time. If you guys have any questions about this video or anything else I'm talking about here on the channel, you can always post below in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page as always, guys. But thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and click the subscribe button for more videos like this. And hope to see you in the next video.